Welcome back to day 2 of building a fishing empire from absolute zero in Farming Simulator 25. For those just joining us, let me quickly catch you up. In episode 1, we started this journey with literally nothing. 0 pounds, no land, no equipment, just a fishing rod and a dream. If you missed it, there is a card in the top right corner where you can watch how this all began. Last episode we grinded our way to 10,000 pounds. But I didn't stop there. Off camera I kept pushing, and after hours upon hours of casting and reeling, I finally hit a major milestone. 100,000 pounds in the bank. But here is the problem. That money, it wasn't nearly enough. If I wanted to turn this into a real business, I needed way more than just a fishing rod. So I kept grinding. More fish, more money. Soon I was sitting on over 130,000 pounds. But then something incredible happened that completely changed my strategy. I discovered a hidden mechanic in the game that most players don't know about. When you release fish back into the water, instead of selling them, you get bonus payments. And these bonuses, they're absolutely insane. I released just 20 fish back into the water and got 5,000 pounds instant bonus. This was a total game changer for maximizing profits. With this knowledge and my growing bank account balance at 141,200 pounds, it was time to make my first major investment. I spotted a used Deutz-Fahr AgroStar 831 tractor on sale for only 43,000 pounds. This wasn't just a good deal, it was an absolute steal. I had to grab it immediately. After snagging that tractor, my account dropped below 100,000 pounds again. So you know what that means. Back to the fishing hotspot to rebuild that balance. Now, before we continue, let me share the exact method to earn maximum money with just a fishing rod in Farming Simulator 25. Pay close attention because this spot is absolutely broken. First, you need to get to this specific location. Open your map and find Farmland 70. Now look directly above it at the beach area. See where my cursor is? Right there. That is the Golden Goose. This spot is an absolute goldmine. You will catch fish on literally every single cast. But here is where the strategy gets interesting. You don't just sell everything you catch. Here is the optimization. Fish that are worth 200 pounds, sell them. Fish worth 400 pounds, sell them immediately. But the fish that are worth 100 pounds, release them back into the water. Why? Because the math is beautiful. For the first 5 fish you released, you get 1,000 pounds as a bonus. That is double what you'd get from just selling those 100-pound fish normally. These bonuses scale up too. If you release 20 fish, you get 5,000 pounds. If you release 50 fish, you get 10,000 pounds. If you release 100 fish, you get 75,000 pounds. It is literally free money just for being strategic about what you keep and what you release. Using this method, I grinded my way back up to 120,000 pounds. Now it was time for the investment that would change everything. I purchased the fish breeding building for 95,000 pounds. This was the moment where we stopped being a simple fisherman and started becoming a real business owner. Next, I bought a bale trailer for 6,000 pounds. Now technically yes, it is designed for bales, but it works perfectly for transporting pallets. Same function, different cargo. Then I invested 15,600 pounds into 6 pallets of fish food. This was essential for getting the breeding operation started. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, you have a tractor, a trailer and pallets to move. But your tractor doesn't have a front loader. And you only have 3,400 pounds left in the bank. How are you going to load those pallets? Let me show you a little trick. But this stays between us, okay? Down at the port next to the fish market, there's a forklift just sitting there. Giant Software put it there presumably so players can load pallets onto boats. But here is the thing. You can take this forklift anywhere you want. And that is exactly what we are going to do. I jumped into the forklift and drove it all the way back to the store. One by one, I loaded each pallet of fish food onto the trailer. 6 pallets total. Then I transported everything back to the fish breeding building. It took some time, going pallet by pallet, load by load, but eventually all the fish food was delivered to the production facility. With the fish food in place, I configured the fish breeding building to produce young salmon and set the output to storing mode, so the pellets would accumulate. I have to say, it is actually pretty cool seeing the fish swimming around inside the unit. The attention to detail is impressive. With everything set up, August was basically done. I headed back to the beach where I found the 10th last episode and called it a night. When September rolled around, I immediately went to check on the breeding unit. And I've got to say, I was genuinely impressed. We had our first production complete, 3 pallets of young salmon sitting there ready to go. But this was just the beginning. The operation was working, but I could already see the problem. I was going to need a lot more cash for fish food to keep this production line running consistently. So it was back to the fishing hotspot. More casts, more fish, more money. Rinse and repeat. With 16,000 pounds back in the bank, I purchased the second batch of 6 pallets of fish food and transported them all back to the fish breeding building. After that delivery, I was down to my last 500 pounds. Literally broke again. Back to the fishing spot I went, but then luck struck at the perfect moment. Remember that bonus system I explained earlier? Well, I hit the big one. I reached 100 released fish and the game rewarded me with a massive 75,000 pound bonus. This was exactly the boost I needed to really scale up production. I immediately invested that windfall into more fish food and transported it all to the breeding unit. Now let me explain the strategy here. The young salmon we are breeding is going to be sold in July, when the price per 1000 liters hits nearly 5,000 pounds. That is when demand peaks and we get maximum profit. Right now, I simply don't have the capital to grow this young fish all the way into full-grown salmon, which would sell for even more. But that is the long-term goal. We will get there eventually as the business expands. For the rest of the in-game year, I fell into a rhythm. A very profitable rhythm. Number 1. Go to the fish spot. Number 2. Catch fish and earn money. Number 3. Head to the store. Number 4. Purchase fish food. Number 5. Transport it to the production. Number 6. Repeat. Hour after hour, month after month in game, the cycle continued. Finally, July arrived. We are sitting on just under 1500 pounds in the bank, but that is about to change in a massive way. After breeding young salmon for almost an entire in-game year, we have accumulated 70 pallets. That is 70 pallets of pure profit. Each pallet contains 2000 liters of young salmon. Now I'm not going to lie, it is going to take quite a bit of time to load and transport all of this to the fish market. But trust me, it is going to be absolutely worth it. My plan is simple, sell everything to the fish market where prices are at their peak. I loaded up the trailer pallet by pallet. The first load held 12 pallets, packed tight and ready to roll. I fired up the tractor and headed to the fish market to see exactly how much money this business was really going to generate. I backed up to the sale point and unloaded. The numbers started rolling in. First load sold for 118,643 pounds. Now that is what I'm talking about. Finally, some serious money entering this bank account. Big numbers. Real business numbers. But here is the beautiful part. That is just the first load. We've got 58 more pallets to sell. Load after load, I kept transporting young salmon to the market. The bank balance kept climbing higher and higher. Now I'm pulling in with the final load, 20 pallets of young salmon. Before selling this last batch, the bank account shows 594,000 pounds. That is what we've earned so far from all the previous loads. Not bad at all, right? Let's sell this final load and see the grand total. 693,110 pounds from young salmon alone. That is the power of scaling up production and playing the market timing correctly. Pretty decent haul if you ask me. Now we finally have the capital to expand this fishing business even further. We can make some serious moves now. But here is where I need your help. I want to hear from the community on this one. If you've been working with the fishing mechanics in Farming Simulator 25, drop a comment below and let me know. What is the best way to expand next? Should I invest in the offshore aquaculture system and start growing the young fish out in the ocean? Or should I go a different route entirely? I've got 690,000 pounds burning a hole in my pocket. helped me decide how to invest it wisely. And that is a wrap on day 2 of building a fishing business from scratch in Farming Simulator 25. From £0 to nearly £700,000. The empire is growing. If you enjoyed watching this journey, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss day 3 when we take this business to the next level. YouTube is recommending another video that you might enjoy. Go ahead and check it out. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.